Oh, fine, thank you.
Okay, I think we can start our class. Okay, let me show you. Okay, here we have some words, many words. These words are going to be used in a video we're going to watch right away. But before watching that video, I want you first to look at these words, the words we have here. And if there is any word that you don't know, you tell me. And looking at these words, what can you guess? What can you say about the video? What is it about? What could it be about?
I think the video will be about disease.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
Illness.
Illnesses, yes, Mary, yes. Anything else? Any other opinion? Any word you don't know? Okay. Do you think, guys, do you think that there could be a friendly virus? Could that thing exist? A friendly virus? Could a virus help? Maybe find
Coronavirus.
yes. But any type of virus.
I don't think so. I never have heard about a friendly virus. I have heard about friendly bacteria, but not virus. I that is
Thank you. Very good. Because we're going to listen to a woman who is telling us about a friendly virus. A virus. Well, let's see how it can help. Let's watch it. It does today. It has subtitles. So let me show it. Let me open it on my browser so we can see. Number 2. Yes. Okay. Let's do it.
Is there such thing as a good virus? Now, this might seem like a strange thing to ask. When we think of viruses, we tend to think of the big baddies like flu and HIV that are exceptionally good at spreading disease. Even Hollywood's cottoned onto our fear of viruses and has brought them to the red carpet as evil, fast-spreading, quite deadly villains. But what if we could use viruses to treat diseases like cancer? Now, this idea has been around for about a century, and it's based on a natural phenomenon. Doctors treating children with cancer noticed that some who got a measles virus infection had a spontaneous reduction in their tumours. It turns out that the measles virus prefers to grow in tumour cells, as they're programmed to just grow and grow and grow. And this is exactly what the virus wants to do, so it can really thrive in them. The beauty of this is that when the virus has grown enough, it sets off small explosions in the cell to bust the cell open. This kills the tumour cell, and it allows the virus to escape and spread through the tumour. Now, we've known about this for a long time, but what's exciting is that we now have the tools and the technology and the knowledge to do something about it. We know how the measles virus works, so we can ensure that it will only infect cancer cells and not healthy cells to prevent any bad side effects. So, for a measles virus to get into a cell in our body, it uses a key on its surface. It's cleverly developed this key to fit a lock on the surface of our cells. Now, when the key fits the lock, it opens a doorway for the virus into the cell. We also know that when a cell becomes cancerous, it changes its locks compared to healthy cells. So we can modify the virus key so that it will only open the lock on cancer cells, allowing it to invade like a well-targeted SWAT team. We can also give this SWAT team a secret weapon. The virus can carry in a protein that will convert a harmless drug that you could give the patient into a highly lethal substance to poison the cancer cells from the inside in a double whammy cancer-killing effect. It's not just the measles virus that could be good at this. Scientists are staging all kinds of virus versus cancer battles with some exciting results. It might take a while to match the right virus with the right cancer, but if this therapy works, these villainous viruses could be the good guys in disguise. Thank you.
Okay, so what could we see in that video? She talks about a key. Sorry, wait a minute. She talks about a key that helps people who have cancer. Why does she mention a key? Or what does she say in general?
Okay. In general, she said that a kind of virus is helpful to fight, for instance, the cancer. And this virus she's talking about was measles. That's measles is infections, viral disease. So she said that it's very helpful to fight, as I mentioned before, the cancer, the tumors.
Mm-hmm.
So because this virus, the measles, can invade the cancer cells and fight. At the end, maybe the cancer is gonna disappear. Well, I think that is the idea of this man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, pretty good. She shows, or she tells us, the measles. She talks about the measles as an example. But is that the only virus who applies for the example? Well, is that the only one who can do this?
No, she was talking about virus,
Mm-hmm.
but she was commenting about different measles and cancer,
Yes.
how the virus can reproduce.
Reproduce. Yes, reproduce.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Do cancer cells change their locks? Or do the virus carry a harmless drug? Is that harmless? Let me write it.
I remember that she was mentioning a kind of team, like a SWAT team, a
Yes.
SWAT team invading the cancer the cancer cells. So I think there is a kind of fight between them. So there's a SWAT is a special and what weapons it means. I'm not quite sure. Special weapons and tactics. That means that's this acronym.
Yes, Alfredo. And where does the measles virus prefer to grow? Did you get that part? And she says that it thrives. Let me write it. It progresses. Hi, John. Good evening.
Um, she tried that the people knows about the topic virus.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Mariluz, thank you. And they only thrive on just one part of the body. And that is what the experiment is about. She says the beauty of this is that this virus can only grow on what?
Tumors?
Yes, on tumors. And that is why it can help people who have developed cancer. Okay, so she says that this idea of developing like a cure for a sickness has been discussed for centuries. But she says that, is it possible now? What does she say? Because many people for many centuries have discussed the fact of creating a new vaccine, a new cure for people who are ill, for people who have cancer. So is it possible now? Do we have the possibilities to do that?
Maybe because technology has advanced in this field. So technology um, comes together with the development of new vaccines. So the researchers are figuring out how to combat the several diseases appeared in this century that we are living in.
Yes, and that could be great because many people are dying of cancer because of that disease. Okay, so here we have different ideas she talked about. We have on the left one part of the idea, and on the right another part of the idea. So I ask you, do you want to watch the video again with the subtitles, and then we listen to it without subtitles, looking at these sentences? Or do you want to listen now and looking at the sentences? What do you prefer? Do you want to watch the video again and then do the activity? Or do you want to do the activity now?
I would like to watch the video again, please.
Yes, the video game.
Okay, let's watch it then. Hello, Jairo. Hi, Mariana.
Hi, teacher.
How's
Hi,
everything?
teacher.
Hi, Mariana. Okay, let me share my screen again. And there it is.
Is there such thing as a good virus? Now, this might seem like a strange thing to ask. When we think of viruses, we tend to think of the big baddies like flu and HIV that are exceptionally good at spreading disease. Even Hollywood's cottoned on to our fear of viruses and has brought them to the red carpet as evil, fuss-spreading, quite deadly villains. But what if we could use viruses to treat diseases like cancer? Now, this idea has been around for about a century, and it's based on a natural phenomenon. Doctors treating children with cancer noticed that some who got a measles virus infection had a spontaneous reduction in their tumours. It turns out that the measles virus prefers to grow in tumour cells, as they're programmed to just grow and grow and grow. And this is exactly what the virus wants to do, so it can really thrive in them. The beauty of this is that when the virus has grown enough, it sets off small explosions in the cell to bust the cell open. This kills the tumour cell, and it allows the virus to escape and spread through the tumour. Now, we've known about this for a long time, but what's exciting is that we now have the tools and the technology and the knowledge to do something about it. We know how the measles virus works, so we can ensure that it will only infect cancer cells to prevent any bad side effects. So, for a measles virus to get into a cell in our body, it uses a key on its surface. It's cleverly developed this key to fit a lock on the surface of our cells. Now, when the key fits the lock, it opens a doorway for the virus into the cell. We also know that when a cell becomes cancerous, it changes its locks compared to healthy cells. So we can modify the virus key so that it will only open the lock on cancer cells, allowing it to invade like a well-targeted SWAT team. We can also give this SWAT team a secret weapon. The virus can carry in a protein that will convert a harmless drug that you could give the patient into a highly lethal substance to poison the cancer cells from the inside in a double whammy cancer-killing effect. It's not just the measles virus that could be good at this. Scientists are staging all kinds of virus versus cancer battles with some exciting results. It might take a while to match the right virus with the right cancer, but if this therapy works, these villainous viruses could be the good guys in disguise.
Okay, so for her, this could be a good idea. We can develop, after going through all this process, we could finally have a cure, like a pill or drugs. No, not exactly drugs. That could be given to patients who are ill, so they can overcome the disease they are going through. Okay, let's continue. Let me show you again the sentences. Okay, so again, the first idea is, well, she says this idea has been around for a century. And then, what does she say? We're going to listen again. It starts small explosions in the cells, had a reduction in their tumors, and it's based on a natural phenomenon. And now we have the technology to use this information. What does she say? Do you remember? No?
Yeah.
Some children with measles. What?
It starts small explosions in the cells. D.
3
Uh,
and D.
3 and D, when the virus is big enough, yes, it starts small explosions in the cells. Yes, very good. We know the virus kills the tumor cell. And then she says, let's listen again.
Sí,
Which one, Mariana?
sí.
Yes, and it's based on a natural phenomenon. Phenomenon, maybe you already know that. Phenomenon is a singular word. The plural word for phenomenon is, do you know?
Phenomenal.
Phenomena, yes. So this word is plural, more than one. And this one is singular. Okay, let's listen.
Is there such thing as a good virus? Now, this might seem like a strange thing to ask. When we think of viruses, we tend to think of the big baddies like flu and HIV that are exceptionally good at spreading disease. Even Hollywood's cottoned onto our fear of viruses and has brought them to the red carpet as evil, fast-spreading, quite deadly villains. But what if we could use viruses to treat diseases like cancer? Now, this idea has been around for about a century, and it is based on a natural phenomenon. Doctors treating children with cancer noticed that some who got a measles virus infection had a spontaneous reduction in their tumours. It turns out that the measles virus prefers to grow in tumour cells, as they're programmed to just grow and grow and grow. And this is exactly what the virus wants to do, so it can really thrive in them. The beauty of this is that when the virus has grown enough, it sets off small explosions in the cell to bust the cell open. This kills the tumour cell, and it allows the virus to escape and spread through the tumour. Now, we've known about this for a long time, but what's exciting is that we now have the tools and the technology and the knowledge to do something about it. We know how the measles virus works, so we can ensure that it will only infect cancer cells and not healthy cells to prevent any bad side effects. So for a measles virus to get into a cell in our body, it uses a key on its surface. It's cleverly developed this key to fit a lock on the surface of our cells. Now, when the key fits the lock, it opens a doorway for the virus into the cell. We also know that when a cell becomes cancerous, it changes its locks compared to healthy cells.
Okay, so as we could see, were we right? Did we have the right answers? Did we match the sentences correctly?
Yes, we have the right answers.
Yeah, it's really good. So we had this idea has been around for a century, and now we have the technology to use this information. Some children with measles had a reduction in their tumors because of these experiments. When the virus is big enough, it starts small explosions in the cells.
Yeah.
And finally, we know the virus kills the tumor cell, and it's based on a natural phenomenon.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. She explains the process of the experiment, how it would be carried out. So here we have like the graphic. Yes, the experiment in a picture. So if we, well, here we have the process, but it's not in order. Again, the idea that viruses can treat diseases have been around for a long time. We now have the technology to use viruses. The measles virus prefers to grow in tumor cells, and finally the tumor cell is killed. So again, here we have the process, but in a picture, in an image. So did you understand the process? How she explains that it could be a key, that it can only harm, that it doesn't harm healthy cells, and how we can create drugs and yes, for people to be treated. So did you understand, guys, the process? Is there anybody from you who would like to explain the process we just listened to? What do you think about that process, about that experiment? Is that interesting? Could it be possible to be applied?
I think sounds an alternative treatment maybe works. I don't know. I think it's just a theory. I don't understand that part, but sounds logical because virus attack the cells, and I don't know if a virus understand when a cell is healthy or not. So if you program a virus about a specific cell that is cancer, for example, maybe it works. I don't know.
Okay, yes, very good point. She says that they look differently, and that is why they could identify healthy cells and cancer cells. But the idea of the virus itself, we don't know if it could identify healthy cells and cancer cells. So any other opinion? Could anybody of you explain the process? Did you understand the process?
What's in daily potion?
Okay.
I can understand that part. If it,
A deadly poison?
yeah.
A poison is a lethal substance that can lead you to death. Yes, it leads.
Yes, but I don't know if the drug. I can explain.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know if the drug is about the solution that she mentioned, or only if the drug the doctor gives you if you have cancer.
Yes, that is the solution. That is the results from the process. So the process is carried out, and then we have the drug.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So nobody would like to explain the process?
I would like to.
Okay. Thank you, Alfredo.
Okay, according to the explanation that we watched in the video, she said that we have a virus. In this case, she was talking about the measles, and this virus had the key to enter to the cancer cell, not to the healthy cell. And then when the virus is inside the cancer cell, this virus released some proteins in a way of a costume, because this is the SWAT team. The SWAT
Yes.
team is in disguise. So the cancer cell cannot identify this virus, and then at the end, a drug can produce, but this drug can be harmless and deadly poison. So we are not sure about the side effects of this drug has been produced.
Okay, Alfredo, thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so the idea, pretty good. The idea is to program this virus to attack just cancer cells. Okay, so I hope it will be developed one day. Okay, talking about viruses, we've been all this time talking about the coronavirus, and now we've been discussing the vaccine. So, what have you heard about the vaccine? Can it be could it be produced this year for everybody? Because many people are now, many countries are now working on that vaccine.
Maybe yes, but not for all the population. Yes, population. Yes. I think that it's first for the doctors, nurses, and the persons who need to provide a service, a health service, and then the second wave is for the rest of the population.
Population, yes.
Yes, and I listen in the news that maybe for Latam, this vacuum could be arrive or start to I don't know how the spread in November. So maybe yes, but I don't think that the numbers are the real numbers, because it's a lot of people. So I don't know if it's for this year everybody can have this medicine or drug or vacuum.
Okay, Marina, thank you. Yes, I don't think either it will happen. And what about the others? What do you think? Could we have a vaccine this year?
I think that maybe yes, but not for all the countries. Maybe I agree with Mariana. Maybe for the population that has dedicated or are the fifth line in this war versus coronavirus. For example, the medics and nurses.
The physicians?
Yes. And after, for some countries, only specific countries, for example, the countries who has or who have more money or can pay the vaccine.
Yes.
Yes, I think that.
Okay, thank you. Let's suppose that the vaccine could arrive to our country this year, next month. I don't know, in the next 2 months. Would you apply that vaccine? Because many people will, just for prevention, but many people say no, I would never apply that vaccine. I don't know. Many people are skeptical about that vaccine. Would you apply that vaccine? Even if you don't have that virus? Even if it has just been released?
I think that yes, teacher, because I believe in the power of the vaccines. For example, the vaccine historical eradicated some I don't know
What?
enfermedades, these
Diseases, illnesses?
diseases. For example, eradicated some diseases, and I believe in the power of the vaccine. I absolutely yes apply me the vaccine.
Okay, yes, me too. And the others, would you apply that vaccine?
Teacher, well, I never thought that I will be an anti-vaccine person, but right now I feel sort of one.
You'll change your mind?
I don't know. To be honest, if the vaccine is released this year, I wouldn't feel comfortable about it.
No.
To be honest, because for me it will be so quick, and I
Yes.
wouldn't feel comfortable. I will wait till, I don't know, 3 months or 6 months later, for when the vaccine is released.
Reliable.
Come on, can you write it, please? Write it.
Yes, of course.
But teacher, I have an opinion because they say that the next vaccine would be made with nano road,
Technology?
with nano road. But the problem is that the person in the high society, in the lead, wants to control the world people, the world
Yes.
population.
That is what many people say. And do you believe in that?
Yes, because the principal who in the face of the vaccine is Steve Jobs.
Is the one, sorry?
He is very he's investigate for things that would be bad in India, and he is forbidden to practice any kind of medicine in India.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Many things have been said about the coronavirus, many conspiracies, and we don't know what to believe. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we have here on the left some expressions, and on the right the person who could use those expressions. So if we read number 1, could please any of you read number 1? Okay, I'll do it. Okay, go ahead.
I
Who is reading?
Ladies first.
Mary, was that you?
okay. We are developing a vaccine to inoculate people against this highly infectious disease.
Thank you, Mary Liz. Thank you so much. Who could say that? A nurse, a patient, a public health official. Yes, official. I missed one word. And or social media. Where can we find this expression?
Public health official.
Sí.
Do you agree? Yes? Okay. We have number 2 again. Anybody who wants to read it? Now, maybe Alfredo, because he wanted to read number 1.
Okay. It reads, relax. It's just going to be a quick job.
Yes, thank you, Alfredo. Who could say that?
Nurse or doctor. A.
Yes, a nurse or a doctor. Number 3. Anybody of you, please?
Me.
Go ahead.
I don't like needles.
I don't like needles. Who can say that?
A patient. A patient.
Absolutely, a
Who
patient.
ha- Who is
Do you-
afraid with the needles? With the needles.
With the needles?
Yes.
Do you guys like needles?
No,
Are you-
I don't like.
No, I don't like to.
It's so very scary.
No way.
No way.
Okay, one with thing that will make you hurt, and if you don't well, you can. How do you say desangrar?
Bleed?
Bleeding.
Bleeding.
Bleed. You can bleed.
You can bleed, and it's so disgusting.
So what? Disgusting?
Yes.
Oh, yes, could be. Yes. Okay, so you don't like needles. Well, nobody likes needles. But there are many people who are afraid of needles. And one thing is that you don't like it, and another thing is that you are afraid of it. Okay, so we said a patient. And finally, number 4, please.
Me.
Any of you?
It's a pandemic, but do we really know all the facts?
Yes, thank you, Laura. Who could say that? Or where can we find that expression, that question?
Social media.
Social media.
Exactly, social
Yes,
media.
social media.
Okay, right now we are going to watch another video, which is from I don't know how to pronounce that. Well, it is from the news. And let me show you.
The potential.
Al Jazeera. I don't know if it is like that, but it is a very. It is really known around the world. This chain, this TV chain. So it is about how many countries are now working on finding a vaccine that can be available and can be suitable for everybody in the world. And what they are doing to develop that vaccine as fast as possible. So it is really short. It only lasts 2 minutes. So let's watch.
The potential answer to stopping the coronavirus may be swishing around inside these trays. Researchers at the U.S. vaccine company Novavax say they have made a protein that stops the virus from binding to human cells.
We are working countless hours, and I think we have made a significant progress in last couple of weeks.
Scientists here received the coronavirus gene sequence on January 10th. They say within weeks, they'd cloned a non-infectious element of the virus, using ovary cells from a North American caterpillar as a protein factory.
So now we have insect ovary cells making the spike protein, which we then purify, and that becomes a vaccine.
The Novavax procedure has worked to make vaccines for the flu, Ebola, and MERS. For the coronavirus, it appears to be effective as well. Clinical tests are expected to begin this spring. Though full licensing takes years, vulnerable communities could receive the experimental vaccine on a compassionate use basis much sooner.
The incentive is to save and help people as quickly and as soon as possible.
In the race to contain the coronavirus, a win for the first to cross the finish line with a vaccine or a treatment is a win for all. And so government researchers here at the National Institutes of Health are partnering with private labs to quicken the pace of drug development. Moderna is another U.S. biofirm making progress. Its coronavirus vaccine is already in the NIH's hands and preparing for clinical trials in April.
I think that's commendable. If we have to come up with 1 billion doses, you might actually need, several vaccines that are working.
The coronavirus has killed thousands and is heading toward a pandemic. U.S. health officials say this is the fastest science has ever moved to develop a vaccine, but it could still be more than a year before any is massively deployed. Heidi Jo Castro, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Okay, so we could see how they are working. And what are they doing? What could we see? Is this project totally new? Or are they basing their project, this creation of the vaccine, in other vaccines that had been created before? Or is this totally new for them?
No, they used another research for this vaccine.
Yes.
And bases on a caterpillar at the protein of the caterpillar, and helps this protein helps to Ebola and other two diseases. Yes.
Thank you. A caterpillar, guys, is a is a type of insect that, well, the one that turns into a butterfly. It is where the butterfly comes from. So they used a caterpillar to develop this vaccine. How many people could you see were interviewed? Or maybe how many companies are mentioned in this report?
Just 2 companies, Moderna and other. This company that developed this vaccine. I think.
It's a lot. And how much time, how long would it take for us to have a vaccine? 6
A
months?
year? No, a year.
Yes, a year. And it is really fast. A year. Okay, here we have some sentences that were mentioned in the video. And on the top we have some words. These ones are together, massively deployed. We have purify, binding, the pace, commendable. Okay. And we have here some sentences. And before, well, we have some gaps. Before those gaps, we have a word. Those words that are in bold, are synonyms for one of these words we're going to use to fill the gap. So, for example, we read number 1, researchers at the US vaccine company say they have made a protein that stops the virus from sticking to human cells. So we're going to try to find a synonym from the words we have here. We're going to find a synonym for sticking. And then we fill the gap. Did you understand the activity?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So for the sentence we have here, what word from these ones could we use to fill this gap, this space? Which word could be a synonym for sticking from the ones we have here? Binding, commendable, cloned, clinical, doses, compassionate.
Binding.
Binding, you sure? Do you agree with Alfredo?
I think it's been.
Yes, it is. It is binding. Very good. From binding to human cells. So we can say from sticking to human cells or from binding to human cells. Number 2 says, they say within weeks they copied a non-infection element of the virus. So instead of saying copied, what else could we say? What is a thing?
Cloned. Cloned.
Yes, they cloned. Excellent. They cloned. That is a synonym. So now we have insect ovary cells making a spike protein, which we then clean, and that becomes a vaccine. So again, what could be a synonym for clean?
Purify.
Yes, purify.
You sure? Do you all agree?
Yes.
Yes, purify.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent, to purify. This one, we have a hint. It begins with C. Tests on people are expected to begin this spring.
Trial.
Trials, yes.
Trials?
Yes, trials.
So we have trials, and we can say clinical trials. Oh, I repeated. Though full permission to use the vaccine takes years.
Licensing.
Licensing, yes.
Licensing. Yes, agree.
Yes, excellent. Although licensing, that means permission. Takes years. Again, I repeat it. Weak and unprotected communities could receive the experimental vaccine. Weak and unprotected.
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable, yes.
Vulnerable.
Yes.
Vulnerable.
Yes, Angie, good.
Vulnerable.
Yes, Mary. To receive the experimental vaccine on a sympathetic use basis much sooner. A synonym for sympathetic is
Compassionate.
compassionate. Yes. The word sympathetic it's not that you are acting in a friendly way. It means that you are compassionate towards somebody or something. So sympathetic is not that you are friendly. It means that you are compassionate. So sometimes it can be a false friend.
It's like empathy.
Yes, empathy is to be friendly, but sympathetic is to be compassionate.
Okay.
In the race to stop the spread of, in the race to
Massively deployed.
You sure?
Stop the spread of.
To stop the spread
It contain.
Yes, and it begins with C.
Contain, yes.
Yes, to contain the virus, to stop. A win for the first to cross the finish line with a vaccine or a treatment. And so let's do 6 and 7, and then we finish. And so government researchers here at the National Institute of Health are partnering with private labs to speed up the rate.
Quicken.
Yes, to quicken. And instead of saying the rate, wait a minute. So instead of saying to speed up, we can say quicken. Very good. To quicken the rate or the what?
Doses?
Massively deployed?
No. Let me show you again. We have the rate, the quantity, the
doses. Doses is the number of vaccines that they can produce or apply.
Okay, yes. Well, I think, yes, it has sense. It makes sense. So we could say quicken the dose or the pace. The rate or the pace. Does it make sense for you?
What is the pace? What is the meaning of pace?
Pace is the how fast somebody goes or something goes. How fast something spreads. That is the pace. Do I make myself clear? No, I don't think so.
No.
The pace is the speed of something, right?
Yes.
Maybe it's similar to the free transit or something like this.
Yes. Let me show you a synonym. Let me give you a synonym.
Maybe it's called, no? Called.
It's what, sorry?
Like a scale, no?
Scale?
Yes.
Yes. It says here, pace could be step, stride, speed, the rate, the quickness of something. And in Spanish, we say ritmo.